The world stood divided, not by oceans, but by power, fear, and ideology. From the ashes of World War II, two giants rose to shape the future. The United States and the Soviet Union, once allies, became fierce rivals. Their beliefs clashed, capitalism versus communism, splitting the world in two. Nations were forced to choose sides in a growing global conflict. An invisible line, the Iron Curtain, descended across Europe. At its center stood Berlin, a city divided by more than walls. Families were separated overnight as the Berlin Wall rose in concrete and steel. Meanwhile, a deadly arms race pushed humanity to the brink of destruction. Nuclear weapons became symbols of both power and terror. Behind the scenes, spies fought a silent war in the shadows. The battle extended beyond Earth, as both powers raced into space. Every launch, every orbit, was a statement of dominance. Then came the Cuban Missile Crisis, the closest the world came to nuclear war. Fear gripped humanity as people prepared for the unthinkable. Voices for peace echoed the globe, demanding an end to tension. Yet conflicts continued through proxy wars in distant lands. Leaders spoke with strength, but the pressure was mounting. Beneath the surface, cracks began to form within the Soviet system. The foundation of a superpower was beginning to weaken. Economic struggles deepened, shaking confidence in leadership. Industries slowed, and the promise of progress began to fade. Citizens faced shortages, standing in long lines for basic needs. Across the divide, prosperity painted a different picture. Propaganda shaped perceptions, but reality told another story. Generations grew up learning two completely different visions of the world. Quiet resistance movements began to rise from within. Reform was introduced in an attempt to save a failing system. Hope emerged, but so did uncertainty. The grip of control began to loosen ever so slightly. Soon, voices of protest could no longer be ignored. Even authority began to hesitate in the face of change. Once again, all eyes turned to Berlin. Small actions sparked a movement that could not be stopped. The Berlin Wall, once a symbol of division, began to fall. Borders opened, and freedom swept across Eastern Europe. Power structures weakened as control slipped away. The image of strength faded into visible collapse. Leaders vanished from influence as history moved forward. The Soviet Union fell, marking the end of an era. A new world emerged, no longer defined by two opposing powers. Nations once bound together stepped into independence. For many, it was a moment of celebration and relief. Old symbols were removed, making way for a new identity. But the path forward was uncertain and filled with challenges. The remaining superpower expanded its influence across the globe. Former allies now had to define their own futures. Freedom brought opportunity, but also hardship. The memories of the Cold War remained vivid and powerful. A new generation began learning about this defining chapter in history. Cities transformed, rising from the shadows of division. Former enemies reached out in diplomacy instead of conflict. Global cooperation slowly replaced rivalry. Those who lived through it carried stories of tension and survival. The world entered a new era of competition, driven by technology and influence. The lessons of the past became warnings for the future. Unity replaced division as nations moved toward cooperation. The remnants of the Berlin Wall stood as a reminder of history. The world, once divided, now moved forward together. Because in the end, every superpower rises, and every superpower falls. If you're enjoying this journey through history and want to see more powerful stories like this, make sure you subscribe to our channel and join our growing community. Don't forget to like this video and share it with others who are passionate about global history and untold stories. And most importantly, hit the bell icon so you never miss the next episode of our series. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video.